Welcome to New to Media, where we connect you to the best service professionals and help you learn about great experiences all over the world.
What's up, brother?
Not much. How you doing, bro?
Living the dream. What can I say? How are you? Where are you at right now?
I'm actually in Houston right now. I'm heading to Dallas to speak at a small business expo tonight.
Fantastic.
Tomorrow. So I'm driving up today. I'll be back tomorrow, and then I'm speaking to a realtor group on Thursday locally. So I'm kind of bouncing.
Nice. Yeah, you seem like you're all over the place.
Yeah.
Very hard to catch you.
Yeah, I know, bro. Is this mic okay? Someone sent it to me as a gift. I thought I'd give it a shot. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Okay.
Actually, it's pretty crisp. So I don't know if it's got a nice setup, but it certainly sounds as good as mine, I would think.
Yeah, I was a guest. It's actually a smart idea. So I was a guest on someone's big podcast. So they sent this to me as a gift, and I was thinking that's smart because they'll get good audio.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Actually a pretty smart idea.
Yeah, especially if you picked up a bunch of them for $100 a piece or whatever,
Yeah, totally.
Totally to keep the quality of the show on point.
100%, bro. 100%.
Well, things have been good, man. I moved over to a real estate company, a national company called Epic Realty. And they are like a really cool company, really big setup. They've got, the structure with stock options, benefits. You no longer have to be a 1099. They got about 3,700 agents right now. So they're already growing pretty well. But I figured the real estate podcast, which is what this is called now, the real estate podcast, it's all about realtors in different areas around the country, but it's also about independent contractors that have, the other jobs. And it's basically this other guy's creating like an Angie's List for home stuff. So it's kind of like a easy way to find a plumber. Here's a bunch of options. Here's some videos. Here's some interviews. Here's some marketing material. So it's kind of 2 or 3-fold, I guess. And then on top of it, I'm doing this sponsored. So it's a whole new project, a lot of fun. But I was like, I got to get Steve on here. You got tons of wealth of knowledge. You've got all the other outside angles, and there might be even some more opportunities for you to get in front of some of these people to talk about stuff. So I think it'd be a good time. So I wanted to introduce them to you, since I know who you are, but they need to know who you are.
Listen, I always appreciate it. And any way I can return the favor, let me know. What do you want to, like the topic level? What do you want to talk about, and how deep do you want to go?
Let's go into how you got into real estate, what started the process, why you started the process, what you've done with it so far, and try to keep it general so that it's not too specific. And that way it's like, keeping out the other companies, that kind of stuff, and just talking from your perspective about real estate, about the market, about what's going on. And then it may even involve you and Heath, because he has categories for everything that you guys are a part of in the entire construction process, repair process. So he seems like he's doing really well bouncing around.
Yeah, he's a good dude. We traded text messages every so often, but I know he's out there fighting the fight, grinding, all that stuff.
Well, I was planning to come out there to come to one of your events, but I got into a serious car accident, and so
I heard, man. You said that. You doing okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I'm 4 or 5 doctor's appointments a week. I've had some crazy seizures because I suffered another traumatic brain injury. So my brain's leaking on my spinal cord, which causes me to lose all that spinal fluid to the body. So my nervous system is all over the place, and they took away my license. I mean, it's just been, and so that's why I haven't come out to Texas yet, is because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get out there. But this was gnarly. Like, they totaled out my $200,000 conversion van.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
It's just nuts. So, and I know you know about car accidents and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
I definitely was reaching out on that behalf also when I started talking to you the other day and was wanting to meet up with you. But yeah, I'm in Orlando. I'm right by Disney too. So
yeah, man, I'm sorry we couldn't meet up, man. It was like a whirlwind of people, and I was trying to figure a window, but you know how it is when you're at these events.
Yeah, you walk in, you get grabbed, and the next thing you know, it's 2 days later.
Pretty much.
That's how it goes. So, but I figure there's probably lots of events down here. So
Oh yeah, when I'm back, I'll definitely I'll make sure I make some time for you and I to connect for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to get out there. He's postponed the ultimate men's retreat that I want to do, and because he's doing some project or whatever. But maybe I'll put it together anyway. I don't know. I know he wanted to be a part of it, so we were going to do it, push it till the fall or spring or whatever. But I think it's still a great idea, and I still think it's something that we should put together. And having you,
absolutely,
having you as the first big speaker will be amazing. So
I'd be honored, bro. I'd be honored.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be cool. I just got to get my license back. I didn't know they take it for 6 months if you have a seizure. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I didn't know that either. Wow.
Yeah. If you
I
have
guess
one,
it makes sense. I mean, I guess for safety, I understand. I thought about it,
I really don't want to be. I don't want other people driving around having seizures out there on the road.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh, I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally understand. So yeah, we'll do general stuff, real estate, your info, like how you got into it, the path you took to get to where you are today. I think it's going to trigger a lot of people to be really interested in your story because it's different, and sure. I'm interviewing realtors in each city about their farm area, and they're showing off their city, talking about being a realtor. It's just a way to get to know the realtors before they actually meet with them. But obviously in your case, you're in a different position than that. So we have to modify, but I do believe it's going to be beneficial. I think people are going to really like it. So let's do it.
All right, brother. Ready to rock?
Easy peasy. Steve, my good bud, tell me the story of how you got into the business of real estate. Pilot to realtor?
Yeah, well, it takes many variations of that story, as you know, right? Nothing is ever a straight line when it comes to our lives.
That's right.
Yeah, so
zigzag.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh boy, where do I begin? I'm like an onion, right? I have a lot of
layers. Exactly. Let's see which layer to start peeling back. It's like,
go through these. Exactly. So yeah, listen, I started off just wanting to do one thing in life, and that was be an airline pilot. At 25, I got hired as the second youngest person with Continental Airlines back in 1998, to date myself. 25 years old. Yeah, I know, right? 25 years old, best job in the world, most safe, most secure job as an airline pilot in a union, career job. And that was true until, a certain day in history. And that day was 9/11. 9/11 changed a lot of lives, especially people in the airline industry. 2 days after the towers fell, I was given a furlough notice with 50,000 other pilots basically saying, hey, that safe and secure job that you thought you had was never safe, was never secure. And now you're going to be on the street with 50,000 pilots. So good luck. So, yeah.
It's a tough phone call.
It was tough, man. It was, they bring you into the office and, it's very humbling, right? When all you know how to do is one thing in life. For me, it was flying a metal tube around in the sky, essentially. And that's gone. It really questions, what do I do? What am I worth? Like the one skill I have is non-usable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, many people in the military, right? They get out of the military.
Doesn't transition well.
No, it doesn't. And, so I started reading the books, and I went to that building with books in it called the library.
I've heard about those. Yeah. Dewey Decimal System.
Yes.
card catalog.
So I got a library card, and I read a book a week, every week, on what do people do to make money and be wealthy. And everything seemed to keep getting redirected towards real estate. At some variation, everyone that was wealthy at some level owned or was involved in some form of real estate. I knew nothing about real estate at the time. It was something that you're one of those one day would be nice to have some rental properties or something like that. I didn't know. So I ended up hiring a real estate mentor to teach me to learn real estate. And again, I didn't know anything. I didn't know if I should get a realtor license. I had no idea, but this guy was more on the creative real estate side. And the creative real estate side was basically how we're going to do what's called a double escrow close.
Okay.
And a double escrow close was essentially, a lack of better term, it was flipping a property without ever owning it, for those of you that don't know. It was
Okay.
back in 2002 time frame. So this is before the internet. This is before it was sexy and fast.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. It was a different era for sure.
Yeah, I had the cassettes and I had, the book and, and so I did a couple deals with it. Yeah.
Cassettes.
Dating myself, right? So I kept doing it over and over again, and I got better at it. And, listen, like everything in life, you learn your lessons. I got pissed off, I lost money, I made mistakes, and I was big enough to understand that I didn't know everything, and that's the world I'm playing in. That was kind of my education tax, we'll say.
Yeah, exactly.
I made enough money doing it, though, that I bought my first apartment complex. And I went into partnerships, and we bought a 39 or 50 unit complex in Houston, Texas. And after we owned the complex, we had it for a couple of years, we sold it. And then me and my business partner thought that we'd start buying single family properties because we were smart. We were educated. What could go wrong? These are small houses. This should be easy. Like we just conquered an apartment complex.
This is about what, 2004?
No. This was about 2007, right when the real estate was crashing. Okay. So we were getting deals.
Yeah.
And, for those of you that in real estate, you only lose money when you sell the property, right? When people lose their houses in bad economies, they become renters. So actually, when prices, real estate crashes, what ends up happening is rentals go up. So rental prices go up. So we started buying some single family houses and we bought a lot of bad properties. Bad as in they weren't our right business model. They were low income, high cash flow properties. We never saw the high cash flow part, but we saw the low income part. And after we owned about 20 of them inside of about a year and a half, we understood why people don't own low income houses because of issues and challenges and maintenance and tenants and all the other problems. So we thought we were very smart and we thought, okay, we can fix this. We will buy more. Seems like a logical reason.
First idea didn't work, so we'll just add to
it. So we're going to double down. We're just going to double down.
All in.
It's kind of like when you have a bonfire and you throw a big barrel of gasoline on it and you're shocked that it exploded in your face. That was my life. Now we're sitting with about 35 rental properties.
Wow.
My wife tells me that if I buy another one, it better be nice because I will be living in it because I suck at buying houses. I don't know what I'm doing and I need to stop.
You better buy a nice
house. Now I'm like an addict, right? I have a problem and I'm like jonesing for another deal thinking I can fix the problem. I ended up getting out. We ended up setting up a management company because no management company would manage them. So we had to self-manage the properties. And what we did is we created a management company and we started managing our own rental properties. And we started to have other people approach us, ask us if we could manage their properties. Well, we started doing that. But again, I went back to the ideology that when I learned how to be a pilot, I had to get a flight instructor to learn how to fly a plane.
Absolutely.
But real estate, I had to get a real estate mentor. So I thought, I wonder if a business coach exists. I had no idea. So I started looking up online and sure enough, there was a business coach. I thought, okay, I don't know what this guy knows. Pay him, and I'm going to learn.
Clearly not making best decisions right now. Could use
Clearly, I've clarified that I'm making stupid decisions and I don't know what I'm doing.
I want to keep my wife, man. I want to keep my wife.
Yes. So we get this business coach. We stay with him for 7 years. And in that 7 years, we built the fastest growing property management company in the state of Texas. We had over 1,000 properties. We had a full realty division. We were in 3 major cities in Texas. 60% of our company was outsourced to Mexico with virtual assistants. And we basically learned how to grow and scale our company exponentially by using my ideology of airline systems, processes, and procedures.
Okay.
So you pilot, systematized into our business, checklists, all that stuff. Created a realty division. We had realtors, we had everything, and we were just our own machine. We were marketing to out of state, out of country investors because just like we're going to be seeing, when times change, the money doesn't stop. The money just changes direction of where it flows from.
Right.
So we started advertising in other countries for real estate investors that wanted to invest in Texas. And it basically was a avenue for us to basically market to out of country, out of state investors to invest in Texas. We would help them buy the prop, find it, buy it, and then we would manage it. And that's kind of how I got into real estate.
Wow. And so then after that, you partnered with the mentor, or did he train you and then let you go free, or was it one of those situations
where we stayed with him?
Saw potential.
Yeah, we stayed with him, and we ended up selling the company to a venture capital firm. So a venture capital firm with 10,000 properties purchased us. I became a vice president for them. And when I was done with I do about 2 years with them during that time frame. This is in 2019. And I started having people, real estate investors, real estate agents, all these people come and ask me, could you help me systemize my company, get me into the mindset of growing exponentially the way you did your company, the way airlines, because everybody knows airlines are very systematic and they run, but they don't understand how they do it.
Right. Been
trained by Boeing for the last 25 years.
For a worthless job.
Yeah. And for the last 25 years, I still am an airline pilot. I fly a Boeing 777 for United Airlines. I've been doing it for 26 years. And it's just something that we're trained to do, just like, military, other things that we're trained to do. We can take those skill sets and use them in another arena.
Yeah.
Not many people have the airline training
in
business to grow and scale that business. But it
right.
can be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one's ever done it.
Well, I think once you establish a system or a structure, which is what pilots do best, right? You guys follow check.
Yep.
Once you get that in place, I think it's just repeatable, right? So once you got the order down correctly, realize that this is the way we want to go about it. You just created a new list of checklists. And that's probably how you just started growing instead of almost losing your wife and house and everything else.
Yeah. And look, a business, I don't care what you do, whether you're a realtor, a business owner, you make Chuck E. Cheese, it doesn't matter. There is a recipe to be successful.
Right.
And there's a recipe to fail. Unfortunately, most people pick the recipe to fail. But if you look at people that are successful, people that have done it, we just follow a recipe. It's not magic. There's no silver bullet. There's no one word that I say every morning. I just follow a recipe. And
absolutely.
So I just show people, how do you follow your recipe? Now, because of my background in real estate, and I did a bunch of stuff with Bigger Pockets, and I'm very good friends with a lot of those, bigger name people that I'm sure people know of. If you look at everybody, we all just follow a recipe. That's really it. It's not. Most people think, and realtors included, that I just have to work harder. I just have to do more. But that's not true, because if that was the case, construction workers and day laborers would be the wealthiest people on the planet.
That's right. If hard work equaled money, that would be an easy layup for those.
It's the people who own the businesses that leverage those people are the ones that are wealthy.
Right.
So
right.
The key to being one of the keys, not the key, one of the keys is understanding leverage and understanding what is your skill set. And most importantly, if you want to build a successful company, let's say you want to have a brokerage or real estate brokerage that's doing, 5-10 million a year in revenue, not sold, but revenue, actual money being made.
Yeah.
Are you a $10 million CEO? Do you walk like it? Do you talk like it? Are you around other like-minded people? Because if you're around a bunch of employee mentality people, you'll never build that business. It just will not.
No. You become the collective sum of the 5 closest people in your life. And that's something that I teach everybody is, if you want to see who you are, go write down a list of positives and negatives of the 5 closest people in your life. And that's you. And if you don't like some of the things about some of those people, then you need to change the people.
And not only that, look at their bank accounts. I bet you're very close to about the same amount of money they make. I mean, I tell people, if I make $5 million a year, right? What are the odds that I probably hang around with people that make as much, if not more than me? Or about people that are making $20,000 a year. And listen, there's nothing wrong with either. I grew up in East LA. I grew up in a very bad part of Los Angeles. I have friends like that. But
Yeah.
I learned I only have 24 hours in a day, right? When you look at people that are making 8-9 figures a year in businesses, they don't get a 25th or 26th hour. They're not working harder. So maybe what do I do every day, that lever that we pull, maybe that's the wrong lever. Maybe it will never, ever work because you're pulling the wrong lever in life. And it's kind of like I talk about the law of sequence. Is it possible for everyone here watching that you're doing all the right things, but you're doing them in the wrong order? And it will never, kind of like if you were going to bake a cake, and before you put the cake in the oven, you put the frosting on.
Right.
It's never going to work. And you come back and like, oh shit, I got to put more frosting on. I'm going to put more. And I'm going to put more. And it's like, look, at some point you've got to realize, fuck, maybe I just have the wrong recipe. Like this will never work for me. And so when I use that analogy, people are like, oh yeah. I'm like, is that possible in your life, in your business, that the reason you're not where you thought you would be at this point in your life, and I don't know what that is, or making the money or having the time freedom, is because you're doing the right things, but you're doing them in the wrong order?
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. That's why I say too, as a pilot, you can't go out of order. Plane's not going to take off if you don't turn it on.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I can't be sitting at the gate and pull the gear up and go, well, we're going to pull it up anyways. Might as well just do it now. It's like, well,
go ahead and jump ahead.
I'm like, you did it. It was the right thing to do, but it was the wrong order of sequence.
Right. So you had to figure out the right order of sequence, rearrange things, get them back on track. And then from there, you were having success because you're still married.
Yep.
So obviously you figured out how to
You learn your lessons, man. You learn your lessons.
So the new coach, the new mentor gave you the insight to manage those 1,000 properties. You basically sold all that off, right? As a one big purchase type thing. And then now you teach people basically that order of things they need to do in the right order to be successful.
Yeah. And I show people, listen, at the end of the day, a business is essentially three parts, like a three-legged stool. You have monetization, you have systemization, and you have duplication. If you're missing it's like a three-legged stool. If you're missing one of these legs, the stool will not stand.
Right.
The biggest piece that almost everybody is missing, and this is what I've learned, is the monetization, which is sales and marketing, and understanding how to get money coming in, recurring, repeat, referral revenue over and over and over again. And listen, realtors, this is exactly what you're probably missing. Monetization will fix a lot of problems. You make enough money, you can buy enough cool shit to start fixing some software problems and people problems. But listen, if you're making $0, what do? You have nowhere to go, right? You're like, man, I want to buy this cool software, but I've got 3 cents in my bank account. Shit. So what do you think we should work? Like, this isn't genius. This isn't rocket science. Like, of the two things, what do you think we should focus on? Making money or building a system? But what a lot of people do is they focus on the system because they're like, oh, it's got to be perfect. I got to wrap a bow on it. I got to make sure everyone loves it. No, you don't. You got to make freaking money, man. Like, you've got to get revenue coming in.
That's right.
What I show people is to understand all three of those legs, but I really focus on the monetization because I just see that is where most businesses fail to launch, is because they don't understand how to monetize what they're doing with the right sales, the right systems, the right people, the right customers, right? We spend a lot of time with our D clients because they call, so we answer, right? Everybody has a D client that you're like, oh, fuck, here we go. We all have them. But
I've had a few of those that get drunk at night and they just need someone to talk to. And so
exactly.
They know they're a realtor answer the phone because they don't want to lose us.
They don't lose the sale. So like, I'm a therapist now,
2 hours later, you're still sitting there like, oh, geez.
Yeah, exactly. This was a mistake. I should just let it go to voicemail.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Lost service.
Yeah.
So now at this point, you've done this for, you're still flying. Yeah. Still traveling all over. How many miles a year do you put on for flight time?
Well, gosh, I flying a 777 international. I only do long haul flights. So I normally fly Tokyo, Buenos Aires, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Honolulu, Hawaii. So this weekend, I fly about 2 or 3 times a month. So I don't fly too often. But I fly. This month I do Tokyo twice. So Tokyo's a 4-hour flight. It's probably about 7,000 miles each way. I'd have to guess 6,500 miles. And I do that in 3 days. So I'll do about 13,000 miles in 3 days.
And then you turn right around and have another weekend, host another weekend event.
Yeah. So I do my events every month in Houston, it's nice. People always say, well, Steve, if you are so quote unquote successful, like why would you keep being a pilot? And my answer is where is it said that if you love what you do, you have to quit it? Like it's even nicer because I don't need it. Like how cool that you go, shit, I'm gonna go to Tokyo for a day or two, and I'm gonna go hang out, and then I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna fly a $250 million aircraft with 350 passengers because I can. I mean, that's a nice feeling to have.
They say if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So what are you retiring from? Wouldn't retire. You wouldn't retire from your favorite thing to do.
And the nice thing is when you have a business that's creating revenue and you're doing what you love, these other things are more fun because I'm not dependent upon the airline job. I can pretty much enjoy what I do because it doesn't freaking matter, man.
No, yeah, that's true. That takes all the stress and pressure off of you. You don't have to worry about
all the stress and pressure.
I don't want to do this, and make a mistake. I don't want to, whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's a big difference. Now you can just relax and enjoy what you do, which turns it back into fun instead of into work because it's one thing when you have to fly 10 flights a week just to cut bills, but it's a different situation when you can pick and choose the flights you want to take. And it won't affect you.
Yeah.
100%. So it's a lot of flying. Then you've got the nonprofit, the beautiful nonprofit for Jet, which tell us a little bit about that because I think it's important people know.
Whew, okay. I'll do my best to get through it without tears. So my son, about a year and a half ago, passed away on a motorcycle accident. He and I used to ride motorcycles together. And sadly, he was struck down going through an intersection, passed away on the scene. And he was 19 years old. And he was a welder. And he was going to welding school. And what we found out after before he passed away, we learned this, that kids in the trade industry, welding, HVAC, plumbing, they do not get much financial aid, if any at all. So some of these classes are 9 months. They're very expensive. Like to go to automotive school is like almost $50,000 for 9 months. So it's a lot for someone who doesn't have the money to go to learn the trade to make the money.
Sure.
So my wife and I, after my son passed away, we created a nonprofit scholarship foundation specifically for high school kids that are trying to go to any trade, whether it's plumbing, electrical, mechanics. And we raise money to send these kids to trade school. So in the last year and a half, we've put 6 kids through school. 3 are in automotive mechanic. We have a girl that's in Wyoming. She's in diesel mechanic. One is being a pilot and the other one's a welder. And it's
incredible.
Yeah, it's something that, obviously near and dear to me and my wife. And it's just something that it's a way to give back and a way to listen. I think that we need trades. I think it's important. I think, you ever try to call a plumber or an electrician, you would wish there was more of them, or mechanic and these other things. And we've been getting a lot of help. We have Harbor Freight. We're talking to them about them donating toolboxes. Who else? NHRA drag bike racing is getting involved. So they may do some sponsoring of helping kids become drag bike technicians. And so we'll see where it goes. It's something that obviously we want to leave a legacy for our son. And also give ourselves some type of, outlet, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term.
Sure. Yeah. And that's one of those things too, in my opinion, that's the future. Blue collar workers are going to be making a lot of money over the next 20, 30 years because we've lost so many people to everyone chasing the internet work. And now there's like all of a sudden all this construction, new development. We're going to be drill, baby drill. We're going to be doing all the things. And there needs to be more tradesmen. And there's just, so it's important. I didn't know it was that expensive to go to trade school for That's a
And
crazy amount.
this is for auto mechanic school. This is just to become a certified automotive mechanic. It's almost $50,000. I was like, when I was sitting there with the kids and we were registering the two first rounds of kids, and they're like, oh, it's like it was in the high 40s, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking for both. I'm like, well, okay, 20. She's like,
reasonable.
She's like, so and how are you going to pay for the other one? I'm like, the other one what? She's like, the other scholarship. I'm like, that's each? And she's like, yeah. I was like, holy shit. Like, no wonder why kids can't go, right? I mean, it's like, no wonder why they can't make this happen. So, we're trying to do a good thing. My son, he traveled to 19 countries as a kid. He really traveled a lot. We took him everywhere with us. He owned his first rental property at 14 years old. And I think that the whole point of this, and the reason I really work with a lot of people like realtors, real estate investors, tradespeople, is that sometimes we forget why we're doing something. And what I mean by that is we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of what we're doing that we forget the reason we're doing it is to have a better life. And sometimes we forget what that better life is, and we get caught up in the minutia of the day. And listen, myself, and I'm sure you too, Kris, we all do it, but we forget, like, okay, I'm doing this to have a better life. Am I actually getting towards having the better life, or am I just stuck in this nonstop circle that's never going to get better?
That's where that checklist comes in, right?
That's where the checklist comes in. Yeah,
you have a goal, attain the goal, and then from there move on. Now, like you said, you can achieve your goal and stay where you are if you love what you're doing.
100%.
But the goal is to still achieve the goal to where you don't have to. It's just a choice.
Yeah, and listen, the thing about being a realtor, what's so great is you can pick your own hours, your own days, your own everything, and you can decide how successful you want to be. The bad thing about realtors is there's no one there to tell you you're not doing it, right? It's all on you sometimes. At the end of the day, it's on you. So it's a plus and a minus, right? And so you have that destination of where you want to go. It's kind of like if you're driving cross country, you don't just get up and go, hey, I'm gonna go north, I'm gonna go south,
wing it.
Destination, right? I think a lot of times we forget that part. And when we're working, quote unquote, on our own, I think it's easy to forget why we're doing something. And so we don't have that direction. And so when I help people, I believe in online communities. I believe we're the sum of our parts. I bring a lot of entrepreneurs together on an online community platform because I think it's lonely as an entrepreneur. I think sometimes you need that, hey, what am I doing type thing? Where are we going? And if we don't have that, we get lost. And when we get lost, we get confused. And when we get confused, we shut down.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It is definitely lonely. Sometimes you never speak to anybody, other than clients or people that you, and it's like you realize after a while that, hey, if you had a regular job, you'd have coworkers, you'd have people, that you see throughout the day. But entrepreneurs don't want to go to a regular job. So we trade all that in for isolation effectively, but it's only isolation until we learn to build our group of people that we can be surrounded by that are going to help us grow, right? The 5 people that are better than us or on our level. That's kind of what makes sense to me. So I'm always looking for more mentors, more people to hang around. I tell my kids, if you want to be something in this world, find someone who's doing it, successful at it, go do what they're doing. Offer to do it for free. Learn what they know. They've already figured out the cake recipe. Don't reinvent it. Just go follow them. I don't care what it is.
You want to learn martial arts. Black belts don't train with white belts, right? I mean, again, I go back to the recipe. It's about listen, we are tribal people. We want to be what they tribe. That's why people join gangs. That's why they join the military. That's why they join religions, because they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. That's why they join like my coaching program. That's why they do this, because we want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves.
Yep.
And sometimes we just need somebody to go, to me, and I boil it down, like, could somebody just give a shit? Like, how about that? just give a shit about me. Just have a conversation. And sadly, I think we get so busy being busy, we forget to give a shit. We forget to even go, hey, what? Tell me about yourself. Like, I'd like to know you. Like, you and I have met, we talked and we've had conversations, and it's just like, hey, does this guy give a shit? Like that, what I mean? At the very core of it, I think that there's a lot to be said about that.
I think it's 100%. That's one of the most important things, and I think you have been influential. And you and I have done that. We've exchanged random texts just to see how the other person's doing. You know what I mean? And once you establish that kind of relationship where you do care about the person, you want to check in on them. And I post Jet's nonprofit. Oh, my lights went out. Hang on. Which tell them about Jet's nonprofit so they can.
Yeah, so the nonprofit, if you go to the website, it's livelikejet.com. It's JETT, livelikejet.com. And it talks about his story. It talks about what we're doing. We're actually updating it. We're putting the recipients and some videos of the recipients, what it meant to them to get the scholarship. And listen, I think sometimes we need to do a better job of being selfless instead of selfish. And what I mean by that is, we get so busy being busy, thinking about ourselves, that sometimes we forget why we're doing it, who we're doing it for, and why are we here? Like, what's the reason? And so I think it's good to have that ability to go, okay, what am I doing here? What is the reason? So that's what it's about.
That's a beautiful thing, man. And I think, I obviously support that big time. And I think it's great what you're doing. And it's really inspiring to hear how many people are able to be helped by his memory. What a really cool thing. Real estate wise, when you started doing the real estate transactions and you sold, you became a coach because that was really where you saw yourself going, or was that just the best fit for what you were thinking as far as what you had learned? You didn't take the real estate path of buying another 1,000 homes.
Yeah, listen, I think we get to a point in life where we do what we want to do, right? And I like helping people, right? I think everybody has a gift in life, right? We have things that we gravitate towards. I gravitate towards helping people, and I gravitate towards making a complex theory very digestible. And I'm good at it, right? I get to speak all over the country. I speak all over the world, as a matter of fact. And I show people how to take a complex idea and simplify it down so that a caveman could basically understand it and make money on it. So yeah, I doing what I do is a business, but it's not a real estate business. I work with a lot of realtors. I work with a lot of property managers. I work with a lot of contractors. So I'm in that genre. But I think that, they say as you go through cycles of life, first you do it, then you teach it. The problem is there's a lot of people that have never done it, and then they want to start teaching it. It's like, well, what have you actually done? Like, I mean,
100%.
Listen, I've done it. I don't need to brag about it. My thing is, if there's something that you can do or want to do, I'm starting this new thing where I do a daily sales huddle for people. They jump on. I even give people 30 minutes or 30 days for free to try it out. And it's 45 minutes to an hour of a daily sales huddle with either me or one of my main sales. He's a high ticket closer. When we talk about, it's not just, I always refrain from calling it sales huddle because it's how to communicate. It's how to understand people's challenges, how to assimilate with them, and how to overcome objections, how to just communicate with you, even your spouse, your kids, your boss. That is sales. And I tell people all the time, either you are selling or you are being sold. That's how this works in life. And so I do that because, again, I go back to the biggest challenge people have is not making money because they don't practice and they don't become professionals at what they're doing, and their paychecks result in it. Their money is a clear indication of how hard they practice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and it's a direct reflection, right? I mean, you got to put in the work. There's never a time that it's just going to become simple. You know what I mean? Like, you can understand the process to the T, hear everything you have to say, read your book, do all your things. But if you don't put it to practice, you don't put the effort in. Like you said, the paychecks aren't going to come. And, I'm amazed at how many people get on board into real estate or into any type of program like that. And they're not making money, but they're surprised they're not making money, even though they've never had any coaching. They've never had any training. Because let's be honest, most real estate licenses do not prepare you to do real estate. You're not prepared in any way. You need a coach. You need a mentor. You need somebody who can teach you the business of real estate from the position of, I've done real estate. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew a bunch of numbers and some dates and some other stuff when I graduated from real estate school. But
they teach you how not to get sued, which is smart. They teach you what you shouldn't do, right? What's illegal, what's not illegal, right? So that's important. But listen, like I use an example, and I'm sure you can relate to this, Kris. that I tell people, if you were to look at a professional golfer like Tiger Woods, he practices every single day for a tournament on the weekend. If you looked at Michael Jordan practiced 8 hours a day, every single day for a 2-hour game. Football players, right? They practice Monday through Saturday for a game on Sunday. Maybe Monday through Friday, they travel Saturday for their football game.
Sure.
They're all professionals. They practice and practice and practice. What would you think if somebody got on the team with Michael Jordan? He's like, hey, Mike, I don't think I'm going to practice till we make it. Maybe then I'll do it. You're like, how long would that guy be a professional athlete on Michael Jordan's team? He would.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
They make their money based on their craft.
Right.
And then I go to salespeople. I go, you're a professional salesperson. You make your money on your craft, but you don't think you need to practice. So what is it that Michael Jordan didn't have that you have? What amazing skill set. I guarantee you, if we measure paychecks, I'm sure that you are not even in the fucking hemisphere of someone.
Did he
like
have
that.
28 hours in a day? Was that what it was?
Yeah, exactly. He was very focused on being the best he could be, and mostly they practice the basics, right? It's like everything, even in the, from the military, you practice the basics all the time. How is that any different than being a professional salesperson? Because you're making your money on your communication skills. That is it.
Exactly. Sometimes that's your only gift is to talk. And that's not a bad thing to have because, like you said, a sale is taking place all the time, whether it's you selling me or me selling you. But if you're not aware of that, then you're already lost because the people that know the game know how to sell and know what's going on. I mean, sales is nothing more than building relationships and reputations. Once people trust you and once they feel like you're a friend, once they have you next to them and they're confident in you, it's easy, like there's no questions. They're not scared. They're not worried. They're not nervous. But I don't see that very often in the real estate world. I see too many realtors that aren't making their client feel comfortable about the biggest purchase they're going to make in their life. And, that seems to be a big time thing going on right now is where there's just not qualified agents. And so it's a goal of mine and the goal of what the real estate podcast is all about is to create more successful, healthier, happier agents around the world. And also to give buyers and sellers a chance to meet agents prior to meeting them. Because how well do you really know your realtor when you hire them? I mean, they're mostly the high school homecoming court who didn't go to college, got a real estate license because they're pretty. And then they threw up some signs, but you don't know them. So, I mean, the idea of being able to talk to people, hear what they have to say, hear what kind of person they are, what their interests are. Maybe you jive with that person, especially with all the new changes with NAR, right?
Yeah, and listen, there is a formula, a psychological formula for people to buy, and for you to establish yourself as a credible. They have to establish they have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you. Mm-hmm. That is sales 101. Most importantly, they have to have a problem that you are solving. If they don't have a problem and you don't have a solution, no transaction will happen. If I sold hamburgers and nobody was ever hungry because I sold them right outside of a buffet line, I'm going to go bankrupt because now if I sold those same hamburgers at 2 a.m. outside of a football game, when the football game gets let out, a college game, I probably would sell out all the time. Did the hamburger change? No, I changed the environment to make sure that I went in front of people who had a problem and I had the solution. And so that there's so much psychology to once you realize it, you go, oh, it's like, it's that simple. It's like, it kind of is. I mean, I hate to say it. It's rocket science. Like I'm not trying to dumb down what some of these salespeople do and teach. It's not this guru stuff. It's like, why do you buy something? It's like people don't buy a hammer because they want a hammer. They buy a hammer because they want a nail to hang a picture to have a memory. So you buy a hammer for memories. That's why you're buying. Right. So, the same thing with a shovel. You don't buy a shovel because you're like, fuck, I want a shovel. You buy a shovel because you want to dig a tree to plant it because you want shade. So you're buying shade is what you're buying. Sure. And so a lot of times we as salespeople, we get so caught up in the transaction, we forget about the result of what someone is actually buying. When they're buying a house, they want memories. They want security. They want safety. They don't care about the interest rates and all that stuff. That is not going to make someone want to buy. And this just, again, my opinion, I could be way off, But if you sold someone on the dream of being a homeowner and the memories they're going to create with their family and what that's going to be like in visualization, you're going to have a much higher close rate than going through the transactional pain of what's going to happen with the, oh, we have an option period. We got 10 days. This is what this, that's after they sign, right? And so we put so many barriers and so much friction in a transaction. It's like, well, no shit, no one's buying from you. You basically gave all the reasons to say no before they could ever say yes.
You talked them out of it instead of talking them into it.
Congratulations, you talked them out of the transaction. Well done.
I feel that way a lot. I feel like that's one of the things people do best is they actually talk people out of making a good decision. And usually it's in the name of ego because they want to feel important. So they try to put their interjections in. And I see them all the time, talk people down. And it's like, you do realize what you're here for, right? You're here to be knowledgeable, to be able to give them information, but also to be able to help determine what they're looking for. You know, people run people around like crazy. I would never show anybody more than 3 homes because if I don't have an understanding well enough of what you're looking for, or you don't, in 3 houses for me to know what we're looking for, then we're wasting time because 40 homes is just going to make you confused. And that's not necessary. And we're going to run me ragged. Like you said, those are your D buyers anyway. So somebody who understands should have a good conversation with somebody and say, hey, explain to me the home you want to have. You know what I mean? What are you going to use it for? Is it an open floor plan, a 2-story? Is it? But if you don't know all that and you're not pre-qualifying them and learning what they need, then you're just going to go start showing houses wherever. You know, like you said, it's got to be about understanding the right location and making that change and moving into the right space, like the hot dogs with the football game. You're going to sell them all at the end of the night, but you certainly aren't going to sell them after a buffet. So you got to know the game. You got to know the business. So I think it's important that people understand all the different ways to get there and also have an avenue to find out more coaches, more people exist that can help you learn this business because it's an amazing business to be in. There's so many opportunities. And as you know, if you find someone to coach you, you could be in a really good spot. So, I mean, that's important to me. But lots of good real estate thing.
Listen, I think there's always going to be a need for people to buy properties, right? There's a problem solution. That's not going to go away. How we do it and the mechanism and the technology, yes, that's going to change. Just like the yellow pages isn't around, right? The old way, and I think there's a difference between a tactic and a strategy, right? A tactic is something a moment in time. So a tactic could be a buyer's market. And then another tactic could be a seller's market, right? So
100%.
Depending on the moment in time. But a strategy or quote unquote a principle, it never changes. So for example, the principle is a law, right? No matter what I think, no matter what you think, the law of gravity will always be the same, right? You can tell me, Steve, I know I can fly. I believe it in all of my heart. If you jump off that building, the law of gravity is going to take up that, right? So
you may know something.
Yeah, it goes back to the law, just like the law of sequence. No matter what you think or what a realtor thinks about how they're selling, there is a law of sequence. It doesn't matter what you think. It only matters what the law of sequence is. And if you don't get the law of sequence right, just like if you don't get the law of gravity right, the law will win. And it's the same thing with this.
It's so repeatable and so simple. Like you said, it's something that, if you really can just wrap your mind around it, slow down, understand that there's no paycheck for being busy. There's only paychecks for being productive. And most people don't realize that because everyone's addicted to being busy. And I'm like, what is everybody doing with their time? Because I work out every day. I've got all these medical appointments. I've got podcasts, real estate business, yoga business. And I'm like, and I still have a lot of free time. So what are they doing? And I think it's just they get hooked on being busy. You've got to stay busy. We've got to stay. And I think that's healthy to an extent. But I think people have lost the priority of making sure they take care of themselves, making sure they're doing it, working smarter, not harder. Like I said, if you're running around showing somebody 20, 25 homes, first of all, they don't know where they want to live. So you're wasting your time. Second of all, how do you find out where they want to live? Where are you going to drive them all over the city? Do they even know what's about the city? So the real estate podcast is kind of to give people that idea. Like if I was to ask you, you would know this, but what's it like in South Dallas? I've never even heard of South Dallas, but I interviewed a realtor the other day from South Dallas who taught me all about South Dallas. Now, I didn't know there was a South Dallas. I didn't know it was that big of a deal, but it is. So, but that's her farm area. That's where she knows. And so it's like, to me, we got to get that information out there, but we also need to be giving realtors access to people that know how to coach, because we've got to really build something that people can really learn from, or else, there's no point in any of it, because all these realtors are going to mess things up. Now, like you said, it's very simple. Structure is easy, but at the same time, we've got to get them to do the work, right? Because we don't want to create failures. And I'm sure that throughout the years, you've probably helped thousands of people become millionaires.
Quite. Yeah. It's a very high number, we'll just say. And what's interesting, Kris, is, I coach people all over the world. So it just goes to show that it's not like, oh, that doesn't work in Amsterdam. Actually, it does, because I coach clients. I toured Australia 3 times. It worked in Australia. It's like, it works everywhere. It's like, maybe you're the problem. Like, maybe it's your mind. Like, is it possible that you could be the one? It's like, I don't know it doesn't work in Australia. Have you actually done business in Australia? Okay.
Have you ever been to Australia?
Yeah, so you've never been there. You've never done business there, but yet you're going to tell me it doesn't work? Interesting. Okay. I just, it's like we have all these reasons of why it won't work. I'm like, why don't you tell me why it can? It can work. Yeah. You can be successful. You're just choosing not to.
Right.
That's it. It's a choice. You make a choice. We all make choices every day.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
And we have to live with those choices, right?
Yeah.
You got to choose the right path, choose the right system, choose the right mentor, choose the right area, and you're all set. Piece of cake. And then you can go back to flying those giant tin cans in the air.
That's right. That's right, brother.
Well, Steve, I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for the education. No doubt people are going to learn a lot from this talk. And that's what I hope to give people, is some more information, more education, and also let them know about you, so that they know that you're out there in case you're somebody that they're looking for. There might be a bunch of people out there. And so hopefully we'll have some more shows with you and get some more information. And it's always good to see you and talk to you.
Thanks, Kris. Good talking to you, and everyone out there. Keep fighting the fight.
All right, Steve, we'll talk to you later. Take care.
All right, bud.
Let's go!